What is going on, FA Nation? John Pepe here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Preview Show. Today, we are looking at the 10-game main slate on Tuesday. Howard here, kicking off the week, 10 games. How are we feeling, man?
Feeling good, Johnny.
Changing
Feeling very good. I'm excited to dive into this. You know, obviously, when you're looking at the Tuesday night slate, and you know that Shota Imanaga is on the slate, you're like super pumped about it, right? And so Shota Imanaga not being the most expensive pitcher on the board, yet still facing the White Sox. That's probably where I'm going to live as far as playing DFS and starting pitching goes. But first and foremost, thank you everybody for being here. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we appreciate you being here. John, let's talk about it, man. Louis Hill is the top price guy here, and I'm not going to argue against what he's done. Minnesota, they can be good, they can be bad. They've hit lefties better than they've hit righties, but it's not to me, it's not as powerful a matchup as Imanaga against the White Sox. Yeah. Just knowing what he is capable of doing. We know that that he got roughed up by Milwaukee his last time out. No big surprise there. I think we even talked about it here on the show, saying that it's just a matter of time before he does have one of those slip-ups.
Yeah.
Does he screw up 2 days, two starts in a row? Absolutely
Probably not. Yeah, Milwaukee's done that to a lot of teams. Sonny Gray got off to a ridiculous start this year, went into Milwaukee, got absolutely hammered by them. That they're an offense that's, one of the top offenses in baseball for a reason this season. So, yeah, elite pitching. Shota runs into a tough spot on the road. Now he's got to bounce back at home, but it's a Chicago series here. White Sox versus Cubs. So, there's going to be a little extra in the air there. His first Chicago series matchup there, and you're looking at the White Sox second to last in WOBA against left-handed pitching. Isolated power, they're 26th. Batting average against left-handed pitching, 29th, and they have a strikeout rate of 23.5, 8th highest. So yeah, I'm fully expecting a bounce back start from Shota. Would fully expect 7-8 strikeouts here. Quality start, limiting the runs earned, and I would prefer him much more than Louis Hill, as good as he has been. Minnesota is just another team that, really is a tough matchup for pitchers right now.
Yeah. And what I also like the most is that his strikeout numbers will probably be way on point, because not only do the White Sox strike out about 24% of the time against left-handed pitching, but they're about 23% right now over the past week with a less than 4% walk rate. So they're aggressive right now. They're not putting the ball in play, only a 257 BABIP over the past week. So Imanaga is going to be my spend up 100%. That's not to say that I'm not going to be intrigued by Corbin Burns or Dylan Cease.
Cease is an interesting one for me. Corbin Burns, obviously, we know is elite. We know there's going to be some really nice win equity there. Toronto just doesn't strike out. The 19% strikeout rate's second lowest against right-handed pitching, third lowest against right-handed pitching in baseball. Not that Corbin Burns can't go strike out guys, but you have Dylan Cease here in a matchup against the Angels, a team that hammers lefties but does not hit well against right-handers. 23rd in WOBA, 24% strikeout rate, 229 batting average against right-handed pitching. So, Dylan Cease can be an elite strikeout pitcher. I'm not too concerned about the recent runs that he has allowed. I think this is an ace matchup for him, and you're getting him at $9,300, one of the cheaper price points we've gotten him this season.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus matchup. I mean, I'll forego starts against the Yankees and starts against Atlanta in Atlanta. I mean, that's a little rough. He started to right the ship a little bit more in, against the Kansas City Royals. But yeah, now here at home, I think that this is back in California, should I say?
Yeah.
It's still a prime spot here against the Angels. So I dig that for sure. Now, moving further down, I know that there are a lot of names here that you normally like. I mean, we like Max Fried, we like George Kirby, we like Cutter Crawford. Any of that mid-tier action seem viable for you right now?
Yeah, listen, the Red Sox are an interesting team to go up against it with lefties on the mound. They have a 28.4% strikeout rate against lefties, and that's 3% higher than the next team. So, they're far and away the leaders in strikeout rate against left-handed pitching. I know Max Fried, not considered a strikeout artist, but obviously he's had some high strikeout games. Coming off another stellar outing there, last time out. Yes, the Braves offense is taking a hit without Ronald Acuna, but there's still some power to be had there. So yeah, I don't mind Max Fried. Obviously, George Kirby in that matchup, going up against Oakland here. Do we not have Cease? Who's starting here? Because they got all the San Diego pitchers.
They do have all the San Diego. Well, it's definitely not Waldron. Waldron's pitching on Monday. So
I guess we'll have to, let's see if we can, DraftKings got a little bug going on. Let's see if we can go check out what the projected starter is going to be.
Projected starter. It still says undecided. How about that?
Well, that is probably why they have every starter listed. So we talked Dylan Cease.
They've got Cease slotted in for Wednesday, actually. I'm looking I'm just looking at deeper schedules here on ESPN, but.
All right, so maybe they called somebody up. Maybe that was the Yu Darvish spot, and they had obviously Darvish is on the IL. So talked a lot about Cease. Whoever, I guess, is if it's a righty against the Angels, I'm still in. If it's a lefty against the Angels, I'll take the Angels side of that matchup. Do you like George Kirby at $8,800 against Oakland? I know Oakland got to Chris Sale, and maybe that has scared some people off, but Charlie Morton came back and pitched really well against them the next day. So you want Kirby at 88. So I don't really have like a strong lean. I'm perfectly fine going Fried, Kirby in this spot. Not going to go Kyle Harrison. We know how good Arizona is against lefties. So that's probably no. Not going to go Bailey Ober against the Yankees.
Nope. How about Arrighetti against the Cardinals? I mean, Cardinals have been bad. Mm-hmm. We know that for a fact. They're worse against lefties than they are against righties. But Houston's really they've stuck with Arrighetti. And I mean, you're talking about, a really nice performance his last time out. I was blown away by how good he looked his last time out. And, granted, it's Seattle and they're a very impatient team and they strike out a lot. But you know what? St. Louis, not really a team that's dialed in very well.
Yeah, overall in the year, they're kind of a top third team against right-handed pitching in terms of offense, but they still have a 24.5% strikeout rate. So if Arrighetti can, you've seen the strikeout numbers of late against Oakland, Seattle, two of the higher strikeout teams against right-handed pitching. Obviously St. Louis fits into that bill as well. Get the strikeout numbers. He can limit the damage when you're missing bats. The free passes are my biggest problem here. He does walk a lot of guys. They have a 9% walk rate, which is okay. That can obviously get him into some trouble if you're giving away the walks there. He's limited the home runs, though. He had that 3-homer game, but really hasn't been giving up too much power. So, I don't think many people will go there, but on a slate where they're seemingly looking like some limited value, that's probably where you're at. You're not going to go the Coors guys. You're not going to go against Baltimore. You're not going to pitch Chris Flexen. So
no, but maybe. Are you thinking that maybe Patrick Sandoval gets a little work here? San Diego's pretty weak against left-handed pitching. We just saw them get shut down by lefties. And if you look at their overall numbers, you're talking about they don't strike out a ton, but a 288 WOBA with a 116 isolated power mark. That is not good at all. Not to mention it's a It's a 260 BABIP. So they're not even putting the ball in play against lefties.
Yeah, that's fine. And we actually targeted, I feel like, this matchup the other day. Excuse me, with the lefty on the mound there. Obviously the strikeout rate's a problem, only 18%, but if they can limit the damage, then the strikeout rates are fine. So I am not the biggest Patrick Sandoval guy, obviously, but he's had some decent matchups lately in spots you probably wouldn't have expected, with the Yankees and the Rangers being two of his more successful starts of late. So sure, you want to throw some darts here at some value, we can go in that direction. Catcher spot here. Again, we look for the value and we kind of move along. You do have Tyler Stevenson at 4,500. Coors against a lefty. If you were looking to spend up, wouldn't have any problems getting some exposure to the Coors matchup here. What are you looking at for a catcher here?
Whatever happened to Luis Camposano against lefties? Whatever happened to that?
They've been going with Higashioka at times as well with him. He's down to $2,400. So I don't mind it, but obviously, the numbers for him were huge last year against lefties, falling off a bit. So if we get Higashioka, I don't mind the punt at $2,400 here. That seems okay.
Yeah, that definitely seems fine using that one there. Jake Rogers against Dane Dunning at 2,700. I think that's a nice spot.
Sure.
Considering the power that Rogers has. Oh, you like a little Mitchie Garver, huh?
I was gonna say Garver's back in the lineup. He's 3K. Gets Spence there of Oakland, so I don't mind that one for sure. Gabe Moreno gets the lefty matchup again. And I know this year he hasn't been all that great against lefties, but last year really good against lefties. If you're not in on Kyle Harrison, there's that at $3,200. So could go either one. Did you mention Bailey?
I have not yet mentioned Patrick Bailey, but I think Patrick Bailey is in a fantastic spot here as well.
Yeah.
And he's not too pricey.
No, and Grande was all over him for the Monday slate. Switch hitter, obviously. I think some of his better power numbers comes with him from the left side of the plate. So not the power side, but not a terrible spot for him here either, given the price point. Over at first base, again, you're getting the Coors Field bump. So like Spencer Steer is 6K. Now this is the right split side for him, but I don't really want to spend $6,000 on Spencer Steer. What are your thoughts at first?
No, I don't want to spend $6,000 on Spencer Steer as well. I think that's a tough spot to be in there. Christian Walker against Kyle Harrison, I definitely do like. Even though Arizona's bats have been a little on the slumpy side.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't mind that. I could look at a lefty bat and Anthony Rizzo against Bailey Ober. I know we like Ober overall, but I don't know if we want to, tap into that. You could get Chris Bryant if you want to get your Coors exposure, right? You could go Bryant against Montas. Montas has not been as strong as he looked like real early on in the season. So I worry about that for sure.
Yeah, not a ton of value. You have LeMahieu at 33. That's down here. But that's probably about it. I mean, not a lot of value at first base.
Not a lot of value at first base.
Second base position then.
Is there
Ketel Marte under 5K? You got him at $4,900. We know that matchup against lefties is something we've targeted often here, so I definitely don't mind that. You want to go Altuve at 5,500 and spend up. Perfectly okay if you want to pull the trigger there as well.
Yeah, Houston bats at home, by the way. Houston at home is the most potent offense out there. I think it's like I wrote it up in the MLB Best Bets article on Monday, just talking about the fact that they rank number one in weighted on base average against at home.
Yeah.
And like a low strikeout rate, good strong power numbers there as well. So I think Altuve definitely plays here against Enrico Palazzo, the former catcher from the movie Naked Gun, which is probably a reference you don't get.
So I know the movie. I don't know the reference.
Somebody please with some age just in the comments section for me, please. Anything.
Jonathan India is 4,400. He's hitting almost 300 against lefties this year. Obviously no power out of him, but you get the Coors Field bump. So maybe if you wanted to throw something out there for India, get
Nico
your
Horner.
You could, dude, Nico still 4K, man.
Take it.
Very happy to take that. They sent down Edward Julian to AAA, so tough scenes there in Minnesota for Julian. A lot of injuries down here. Got Josh Rojas is 38. Nolan Gorman, I know you mentioned Arrighetti earlier, but Gorman has some power to him from the left side of the plate there. Let's see. Anything? IKF again, but tough spot against Burns.
Yeah, Colt Keith, lefty bat against Dane Dunning, I think is real good at 2,900. He's actually heated up a little bit more lately. I actually just popped him into our Fantasy Alarm waiver wire article. Just, hey, so people dropped him from that from that horrible slow month, and he's actually hitting real well lately.
Yeah, the last couple of months, last month rather, for sure, better than he was in the initial month there. Let's pop over to third base. Devers against a lefty. I'm not going to spend that against Fried. McMahon against Montes, $5,200. Ryan McMahon, oddly enough, struggling at home this year, 258 with an under 800 OPS. But that's not going to shy me away here against Frankie Montes.
No, it's not going to shy me away either. We'll have to see if Jordan Westberg is actually in the lineup against Bowden Francis. He's been a little cold lately. He's been taking a seat. Machado against Sandoval. I definitely like that. If you want some Coors exposure, Candelario here at the hot corner is definitely workable. Matt Chapman against the lefty. I don't hate that either.
No, that's fine. I'm good with Chapman. Obviously has some power.
If San Diego tosses a lefty out there, obviously Renjifo is a lock.
Yes.
I actually don't hate Matt Vierling. Also, Vierling's another guy who's been hitting the ball real well. With Kerry Carpenter on the IL, Vierling's been getting regular starts now. So
yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that given the recent run for him. Again, it has a little power, obviously, in his bat. Morel, we know, can go for power. Bregman's been homering. So you have that at 41 still if you wanted to go there. Value plays for you? Anything popping off the page?
Value at the hot corner.
What's Carpenter doing these days? Not much.
Rather go with Espinal.
Yeah.
I mean, LeMahieu down there, it's against Bailey Ober, but it's still a nice price. And if you want to stack Yankees, I definitely don't hate that move for sure.
Yeah, Alexander's been obviously 2 games, been better over the last 2 games here. 3,500. If you're going with an Arizona stack against Kyle Harrison, maybe you give that one a look. Over at shortstop, Ellie De La Cruz up at the top. It's a lefty. He's a switch hitter, but much better against righties and lefties at 6,500. Gunnar Henderson, though, against Francis at 61 is pretty good. And obviously Seager. Now, Jack Flaherty's been really good. Caper 9 over 10, a really low xFIP. So while as good as Seager's been, this is definitely a tougher matchup. I think Gunnar is my top spend up here.
Gunner's definitely my top spend up as well. I don't feel the need to, worry about that matchup. You could go Tovar if you want that Coors exposure. Even though it's righty, but Montas is he gives up a long ball.
Yep.
So I think that's definitely a possibility. Yep. Moving further down again, if there's a lefty on the mound for the Angels, for the Padres, we'll look at Zach Neto.
Yep.
Dansby Swanson against Chris Flexen. I definitely don't hate that either.
Nope. Don't mind that one. Don't mind Ha-Seong Kim against Sandoval at 4K. Either if you're going there, those are all fine for me. Mason Wynn at 3,300 also, I don't mind. I know generally we've played him against lefties, but hard to argue with the numbers we've gotten out of him over the last 10. 3 runs the other day. We know he has stolen base potential, and then there's a righty on the mound and a righty that walks a lot of guys. So you want to go Mason Wynn at 33. That one plays for me as well. But that's
there is nothing else down below value tier and at shortstop. There really is not.
Nope. For 10 games, the value seems a little bit hard to come by. We'll go to outfield, and we'll build a lineup and close out the show. No surprise, your usual suspects up here: Judge, Soto, Tucker. Pick your stack, find your play, and plug.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm fine, locking in down in, on that front. Jordan Alvarez down at 51. I think that definitely plays there. And then, when you start going 5K and below, listen, I like Bellinger against a righty that pitches to contact. I think that's a perfectly fine spot. Anthony Santander going up against Bowden Francis. Seiya Suzuki against Flexen. I might dabble with a little Cubs stack in this.
Yeah, we didn't even mention Morel, but we always know that he is liable.
He's 0 in his last 2 straight games, Johnny. He started off. I was like, ooh, I messaged you. I was like, he homered. Here we go. Then he went 1 for 2 with 2 walks the next day, and then 0 on the weekend. I was like, not yet.
Yep. Pilar, if there's a lefties, $4,500 can go there. Verdugo's 43, middle of that lineup. Brenton Doyle's 43. If you want some Coors exposure, you can get that one.
Yeah. If Nolan Jones is activated, by the way, which he is supposed to be activated.
Okay.
That's a lefty bat against Frankie Montas in Coors.
Where's the Jones price?
4,400, right above Verdugo.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to do that. I like that play. You also have Soler versus a lefty in Arizona. That's a cha-ching spot. And Profar there also against a lefty at 42. So those are pretty good matchups. Lourdes Gurriel against a lefty. Lourdes homered the other day. Again, you look at all of his numbers this year, just hitting lefties. It's pretty much all he's doing. Not hitting righties. That's why his overall numbers are terrible. But could go Lourdes if you're going Arizona stack.
I felt so good about Arizona stacking early on in the season, and I'm so off of that now.
They still hit lefties well, though, Howard.
They do.
So, we got the Cincinnati outfielders, right? It's Martini is there. He's a lefty though. Who's the righty that they lead off?
Friedel?
Fairchild, right? Don't they put Fairchild in the leadoff spot with a lefty on the mound? Because Friedel and Fraley are both lefties. So
Oh, yeah, okay. So
we
yeah,
might
maybe
get Stuart
Fairchild
Fairchild
leads up.
starting and leading off here at 35.
If he is leading off at 35, I definitely would happily take a look at that for sure.
Luke Raley's back to popping some home runs here. Homers in back-to-back games for him.
Yep, I like that.
Some value there. Let's see.
I'm scrolling down. Akil Baddoo, if he should be in the lineup against Dane Dunning. I think that's okay at 32. Again, I like these Tigers bats.
Sure, you got Grichuk at 31 against Harrison. That's probably it, though, until we get official lineups. Obviously, we go back here live, 4 p.m. Eastern time, so make sure you tune into the Fantasy Alarm channel. Hit that like and subscribe button so you get notified when we go live so you don't miss all the updates here. But let's get a lineup build going here, Howard.
Let's do it.
I think we're in on plugging Shota. What are we doing for our SP2, though?
Well, I mean, we talked about, I like Kirby against Oakland as well. I just don't know if that's going to be too pricey, him at 8,800.
Sure.
I think the last pitchers that we kind of, I don't know if I'm not going to go Arrighetti. I'm not going to do it.
All right, let's go then. Let's go with Kirby. I'm fine going Kirby here against
Let's
Oakland.
go Kirby.
All right, so now we need some value. Let's go down to Higashioka. We'll just plug him in if we and assume that he's going to play. If not, we'll find some value on this slate. But this is the preview lineup, right? We can get our own lineups. So that's what we're doing here. 4K first baseman or other value plays that we have. And remember, there wasn't a ton of obvious values on this slate here. So
no, there really was not.
What do we have for Fairchild? I'm pretty sure Fairchild's going to start 3,500. That gives us 41. 41 a play. Let's see.
Well, where else were we looking for value? We found some value at
Horner, right? Or do we want lower? Do we want cheaper?
Well, you can go Horner at third at 41. I'm sure at second base we could probably find something a little bit. Oh, we could go Colt Keith over at second base at 29.
Okay, yeah, Keith at 29. Okay, we can do that. That's fine. Where is he? 2,900 and it's Dunning. All right, 4,300 third base. We had
you wanted Horner.
Horner's at second base eligibility.
Oh, he's only got second eligibility now?
Only second. They took him from us. I know. All right, let's see. We wanted Gunner. Can we get Gunner in here? That's back to 4K a play. They do LeMahieu at third. 3,300.
Oh, yeah. You could definitely do LeMahieu.
Now we're back up to 41. Let's see, do we have anything that we can connect down here?
How about in the outfield?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking.
What's Vierling? If we want to double up some Tigers here, what's Vierling at?
Oh, he was like 4K, I want to say. Add Vierling. 42. So we can make that work. You can make 42 work.
We could. I'm just trying to see if there's something even further down.
Well, if we did O'Hearn with Henderson, that gives us a 4K, and at first base, that gives us a 4K outfielder. 4K outfielder can do a one-off Lourdes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 4K for an outfielder, huh?
Yeah. Feels like it's like a one-off Lourdes Gurriel against Kyle Harrison.
Does feel like that, doesn't it?
All right, just an example lineup. Again, we'll rebuild the lineup, but all the latest news and updates as it comes across here on the 4 p.m. show. Myself and Henry Wilson on the 4 p.m. live stream here today. But we got Shota Imanaga, George Kirby, Higashioka, O'Hearn, Keith, LeMahieu, Henderson, Fairchild, Vierling, and Lourdes Gurriel to close out this example lineup. Again, everybody, we appreciate all the support here. If you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Free way to support the work we do here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. For Howard Bender and myself, everybody, we'll catch you guys later.